three and the
How
four.
come, yeah.
Here, well,
No, I didn't print them out because I was trying to save paper, so it's there, but I will get one for you.
Those are hard. Yeah. I think you're correct, phone number, right? Yes.
Apologize for the delay, we're trying to get to that.
Okay. Well, people from Care Company.
Go ahead.
How you doing?
Officially, I live in
the forest.
Oh,
I'm talking,
yeah, talking about me, yeah. I was, we need to talk to you
what happened?
about, the radar site.
Oh,
They wanna put,
radar.
they came to us about solar and started talking about TIFs. And I said, well, we need to talk to our own
I
assessor.
wouldn't tip it, there's not. I just don't go with it. I'd get their taxable value and add it to your town and let them pay their fair share.
It's quite a bit.
I mean, like Benton, we tip some down there, the 3-corner solar, cause it's a huge problem.
Hi, Charlie, how
Must
are
have been
you?
good value come from NECEC here.
Yeah.
That'll be good for this year.
See you tonight.
Yeah.
Sorry about the agenda, Susan's getting those right now, we have it online.
You see how big that tree was that came down? Took out the pole?
It did, you get the telephone pole, I know, it's crazy. It wasn't even that windy, I don't think.
I was shocked, I don't know, yeah. They were right there. Yeah, they were right on it, and they had a pole. I said, wow, they already have a pole. That's what a 10-person complaint does.
I hope you have your reading glasses. This, for whatever reason, printed really small. I can't read it, thank you. And everyone else, I did have it up here on the screen.
Thank you.
Yes.
I thought we were going on email.
Great idea.
All right, we all ready? We'll call this to order, 6:36. Charlie, good?
I second, yes.
Nope, you're not second, I just asked for it.
Yep.
All right. Number one, citizens' comments. See, we got a lot of citizens here. Anybody wanna have something to say first? Questions?
I just think the website looks really nice.
Thanks, Susan. She's been
Yes,
on it.
I looked at it today to check on the meeting, and I just thought it looked so nice.
Awesome. And you found the agenda.
I did,
Perfect.
absolutely. I
That's
found
awesome.
everything I was looking for. Up to date and nice.
All right. Nobody else?
What we have this, part of the meeting for is folks that might wanna have something to say, open, just show up. They might wanna have, again, something to say and not hang out for the rest of the meeting, so that's kind of what this is, but it looks like we've gone through that and we'll move along.
All right, Liz Caruso, presenting the Fidium Fiber.
Okay. I have other things to say though.
That was
I'm happy to.
Anyway.
So I'm going to.
I'm just back
I am, you're a selectman, right? Yes,
Me, no.
Tax collector.
tax collector.
No,
Oh, we're missing
Yeah,
Justin.
Justin wasn't able to make it tonight.
Okay. So I, you guys know me as, from Caratunk, but I am, been working for over a year for Somerset Economic Development, and I am the broadband director for Somerset County. And I have been presenting across the county at all the towns, letting them know about a program that we have available for citizens. And I haven't been able to attend one of your meetings, so thank you for allowing me to come, Charlie. So there's a big push in the state to help Mainers to navigate the digital world in a better way. There are many people that struggle for various reasons. There are many portions of the population that struggle more. So a lot of rural, a lot of low income, seniors, veterans, minorities, different population groups, of which we have a lot here in Somerset County. And so there are 3 ways in which people have a hard time navigating the digital world. They either don't have access at home, they don't have a device that goes online, or they may have one or both, but they don't know how to use their devices or navigate in a safe manner or in a confident manner. And so we have a program here in Somerset County. I'm redoing our brochure, but I have one, this is an older version. I'm happy to hand them out to people, make them available. But we are trying to help people to connect. One of the things that Somerset Economic Development has done is been pushing for fiber all over, which is why we have Fidium coming in to the state. There was a $30 million grant that we received from the feds to bring that middle mile, that fiber going up the 201 corridor, and then another grant called Make the Ready. Fidium won that grant, and that's why they are bringing fiber to the home all over from Bingham, Moscow, Caratunk, the Forks, and the West Forks. So we're very excited for that. I just spoke with some people in Bingham who are already live. They already have, not only is it attached, but they have a plan. So that's really exciting. I had heard it could be August, but we didn't want to say it because you know the way it goes. A lot of times it gets delayed. But also we have, and Scarlett DeShong, who lives up in the Forks, she is working with us. She's a digital educator, and she is also working for the National Digital Equity Center, who is one of our partners. And so Scarlett is someone that if someone needs help with getting internet access, she is someone that can help one-on-one. We also want to help people get affordable devices. We're partnering with Give IT, Get IT in Waterville, and they are a company that takes higher end computers, laptops and desktops, refurbishes them, puts all brand new hardware, new hard drives, and software as needed to help people who are income eligible and people who need it for work or for school, or maybe as an older adult who needs it, you know, for telehealth or video conferencing or something like that. And we are also sponsoring devices through them for families who are in need. So that is also in our brochure. And then we're also partnering with the NDEC. They offer free digital and computer classes for free to any Mainer, and you can take their virtual. They are live, but they are done. You can take them at home as long as you have an internet connection, or one of our partner locations. When I came on board, we had to write a broadband plan for Somerset County, and I formed a coalition of our towns, our schools, our libraries, and a lot of social service organizations where we can have safe places for people to go to meet one-on-one for tech support, or to have one of these classes that we're offering. And I'm in the jail once a week where we're trying to reach as many people as possible to equip them and empower them with skills and devices as much as we can. So I know you have a lot on your agenda. I don't want to take up much more of your time, but I wanted to make sure that you were aware of it, and so that you can make your citizens aware of it. We also, something that might be helpful, we just opened, it's a tech hub, but we're calling it the Somerset Connect Center in the old Quimby School. I don't know if you're aware of it, but it was purchased by a private individual. He has subbed it out, leased out the space, and we have quite a large center there that can be used for a conference room, for classrooms, for co-sharing works, kind of like a library where you have shared workspace. And then we also have 3 private rooms, one for telehealth, one for tech support, and one for remote work.
Is that in your brochure?
So that's gonna be in my next brochure, but we're, just put up the whiteboard today, and we're partnering with the Skowhegan Adult Ed, they have someone doing one-on-one tech support. And then, we can meet people there for that. So I'm gonna give you my older brochure, it talks about the classes, it talks about Give IT, Get IT, and then when the new one comes out, hopefully in a couple weeks, I will get that to you. I have some flyers, that, the phone number for tech help, that, a couple different phone numbers, and so you can put this up. And then I also have this interest form, you can make copies of this, and if people are interested in help, if they're interested in classes, like let's say you wanted to be, that's something else I have to talk about, but let's say you want to offer classes here in the Forks. As long as you have an internet connection, you can do that, and we can facilitate that.
So do you have a website and all this
Yes.
stuff will be on? And
SomersetBroadband.org.
it's on here?
Yes.
Maybe we could set up
Put a link
on
to,
you.
to our website, and also Liz, just so you know, we have now office hours every Wednesday afternoon. So we could leave those in the,
Okay.
main room over there where people come in to register vehicles and ATVs and whatnot.
Yeah, that would be great. That's great.
And I can at least, pass along your brochures.
I would appreciate that. That'd be, a way to get the word out and bring awareness. Because a lot of people who struggle with the internet aren't gonna go online.
Right.
I was just gonna say, you can put it on our website.
But it's
Wait a
Yeah.
minute.
But it's still good because,
Uh-huh.
we all have people who, we give a phone to our parents and then we have to teach them how to use it. We all have people that we know that need help. Also, Christian Savage, who I work with, he's the executive director. We also want to let you know that we are reaching out to our towns to let them know that we are getting access to some funds that can help our town offices become, upgrade their IT. So if you needed some devices, if you needed, some wiring, if you needed, a website help, funds for your website, we're going to be putting it up to bid, but we're gonna have a third party come in and assess where towns are and if they need help. And if you're interested in that, we'd love to help you with, offer those funds and offer those services.
We are.
Yeah, I figured.
My computer keeps trying to connect while it's out here.
So I'll just leave this, this is a flyer, you can hand them out, you can put it up, and here's our interest form, you can make more copies. Did I give you my card? I must have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
good.
did.
Okay, and I can give you some brochures if you want, or you can just wait for the new ones to come out. I'll just throw it here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, great, thank you.
that's good, thanks.
Anybody else want to question or comment on that? We'll move on. Which to discuss options for Ida's Place on the auction room. Ida, what's your plan?
So, I live Perry, I think most people know me moved here, my wife Isabel, we live up on the Grocery Road, been there a long time. My son-in-law Charlie and daughter and granddaughter live down West Forest. We just drive right by Muncie Pond all the time. We put our canoe in there and a boat in there, swim there, play there, fish there. And we, recently become aware that the town owns property along the water up there and has leased it out. And we're like, well, maybe if we ask, we could get a lease, for Ida's Place. I know that there's, the buildings aren't in the greatest shape, but we're not looking to rent the buildings or lease the buildings. I think a short-term lease, of the property, so we can put our boat in there. We got a little teardrop trailer, camper, just a little thing, that we might put down there if we were allowed. So that would be like a short term. If the town was interested in a longer term, then we would consider doing maintenance on the facilities there. And if the town was interested in selling it, we'd be very interested in buying it. So these are just things I wanted to bring to you, and ask you to consider. And make our dreams come true.
Question about buying it, you mean as in, because right now, the land is leased, okay, I mean, the town owns the land and the buildings right now. There are an additional 5 lots that we do lease. I think 2 of them have buildings on them, and the other 3 have trailers, or I think 1 might even be vacant. You know, room for a trailer, but there isn't there. My understanding is that house previously was privately owned, but was on the leased land, and then the town bought the property, which is the big house and the 2 smaller buildings. So, the town does own the buildings and the land itself, just, you know, so.
Yeah, we would certainly be interested in buying the whole lot if you're interested in selling.
I think at that we'd have to look at, cause I think there's some legal stuff that we just come across that we need to sort out
Yeah.
before we can make a decision on that. But we will, that is on our hot topic burner, so we will get back to you as soon as possible.
Alright, well, thanks for,
Hopefully before the next meeting, we should be able to have
Should I?
something.
bring my checkbook.
I don't know about that, but maybe.
Alright, thanks for your
Yeah.
consideration.
We
Thanks
like-
for coming.
We like money.
Do we get extra points if we stay for the whole meeting, or can we?
No, that's
Whichever you.
Yeah, you do, but I don't know what you use them for.
Thanks, boys.
Yep.
Have a great night.
Yeah, take care, thanks for coming.
All right, we'll move on unless anybody else got any discussion on that. Tax commitment update. Well, we're working with, setting up to work with Garnett here, to get that moving forward. We have a few items that we gotta find, to get that going in the right direction. Garnett's been so kind to jump on board. We've had problems with Mr. Gingrich is.
Just, I guess I can help you, is like, looking at what you had for deeds, that's not very much work, so.
Yeah.
Probably, looks like a day of probably review, so.
Yeah.
I mean, you had 20-something inspections, looks like,
Yeah, I looked about that.
you know, whatever he'd give you from the list, but what you'd wanna do is just pull those cards, kinda lay them out where direction you're going, so you can just
Right,
start and drive off to look at them, see whatever. The LUPC stuff, you just wanna make sure, find out which one are the new camps, which one are, what you're looking for, so when you pull in, you're not looking for, you know, and then, so yeah, there's probably a day on that, and probably, the harder part's gonna be looking at his manual to see, try to make sure you're following the same adjustments that he's made on, in the past. All you're really trying to do is get all those new values and put those in, so, I mean, there's 2 or 3 days worth of work just to get committed. Other than that, that's not, I mean, there's nothing too serious looking there, other than it doesn't look super good.
Right.
And,
And then once
before you sell that stuff, you guys should make sure you have appraisals. I thought I'd throw it on those lots, you know. It's something that if I were looking at it, I'd wanna, you know, I mean, everybody'd wanna buy a lot when you see a lot in town, but, you know, I'd make sure what, you know, what you have is worth. I mean, if they're foreclosed, if that's how you received them, is through a foreclosure. And there's new laws now that saying, like, if you.
No, that was purchased by the town from the.
You purchased it from
The town
the-
purchased it, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you can do any,
Oh, right.
when you own things outright and everything like that, the only thing I'd say, and if that came from any place that gets foreclosed technically now, you have to put it out to a realtor, and whatever that difference is goes to.
The previous owner.
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't really incentivize the town to do that, right?
like,
It doesn't look like tons of work just from what I saw there, so I mean, it's.
and once that's, all that.
Once you get that through, then you can do a lot more with the stuff that's coming in now, and you can, but it just looks like it's just, we got 20-something-year-old data, you
Yeah.
know, and I don't know how good Bob was at keeping up with everything. I know I worked behind him in a revaluation in Garland, just 2 years ago, I took it on, and I wanted to give my guys raises, and I said, well, I'll let them each have a new maintenance town on like, he's kind of pretty old, you know what I mean? He didn't go into any of the buildings. It's during COVID too, so maybe he was scared to do it or something, but he didn't really, you know, and then he did it basically, they had the full package, meaning they don't have, like here, you have a short screen. There, they actually paid for the full package, full sketch, full pictures. None of that's in there, it's all done with the cards, and you just put the values in, so it's, you know, that takes 10 times as much time what you have there, just from having, you're such a small town, that's not a huge deal, it's just, you know.
Not the most
They
efficient
probably-
process.
Probably take longer if I had one of my guys here, like they've done everything with the computer, you know, I'm aware of that, I just, looking at his cards, it's not a lot of notes, usually you see notes saying why he made the adjustments, or, but that's pretty, you know, I mean, there's nothing there that looks scary, so like, I mean, the big things, make sure your deeds are in, maybe they've already done them.
Right,
You know what I mean? So if you get that list of deeds and so you can look in there, you can automatically look in there and see if it went to
If
the.
they're already in Trio.
Yeah, so I mean, when you pull your deed, you'll see who it goes to, pull up, you know, you can just automatically pull up that name, you know, if it's not in the first, you know, if it's in the name it went to, then maybe they've already put them in for most of the year, I don't know, when did things change over?
June,
So maybe, you know, like it might, if somebody else was doing those,
right,
maybe they're already in, so you might find your deeds are in,
and we can get that off the state's website, correct, like we just
and
said.
the declarations you can, but,
Well, we can get the deeds off the state website, but I'm gonna have to try to get access to the Trio
Right,
to be able to see if the information that's on those deeds has been put into Trio.
understood.
I think you could actually see it just from open up your Trio, or, you know, like, if you have, as long as you have the deeds,
Yeah.
right now, you just have a read-only, meaning it'll show you what's in there.
Right,
Right,
So if you pull it up and it hasn't been changed, then you say, oh no, we gotta fix that one, or,
okay.
and maybe, like I said, if you pull it one end after another, you might find that all of a sudden, hey, they're all in, that would be the best case, cause like,
I think
really,
what I'm
you're
gonna
just
have to do is go and print all of those off. You know what I mean? I don't, we'll look for the file.
I
can
print
look
them
at
just
the
so you
files.
have them, and then, you know what I mean, and then, you know, like I said, the only thing you really, you know, anybody can change deeds, but if you're the last person, whoever is doing it, if they're not skilled, they'll miss split, you know, like I
They're
said.
not reading the deed carefully.
Yeah, if you're reading it, a lot of times it'll be, you know, it could be accepting or reserving out a piece, you know, like if I sold you 100 acres, but I kept an acre, for myself, you just wanna make sure you're creating both lots, so.
Did you say that that's normally that function of putting it in Trio?
99% of everything we're talking about here, I've never seen it collecting. It's the assessors that should be assessors, or your agent, or if you're in a town, it's the assessor. They do all of your deeds, your splits, your tax maps, you know, updates on those. They do all of when the homesteads come in, they're the ones that look at the homesteads, the tree growth comes in, they look at those. When you get new boards like this, most times, like, you know, they haven't, you know, like, especially you guys are all brand new. If you go into a town where they, you know, rotate over, you know, like if you're in a selectman, assessor form of town, sometimes they'll have like staggered, you know, times in. Normally you have one guy teaching the next one.
right,
There are very few towns that really try to keep up doing the work now. But a little town like this, if you did it, you'd wanna do it as a group, like the reviews. You'd ride around, measure, you know, it's really,
and that's something,
this one's basic, you know.
that's something that you're gonna help us with,
Yeah, I mean, what I would do is like, I'd want, for this year, just to get it in, it'd probably be good to just take whoever wants to go.
Yeah.
And say, I know the town, you know, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know I don't know if I told you, but I think I told you, Charlie, maybe, but I did, all your commercials here. And before Bob did this way back, they didn't have your commercials done, they needed, I did all your commercials, so I did Northern, I did all of the rafting companies. Then they had me do your waterfront, so I did all of Moxie, I did all of Pleasant Pond, so I mean, I do know
Right,
you know, the layout of the town. I mean, that's why I knew when we pulled up Stag, I know the difference, you know, where he's just over the line in Caratunk, so. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to help you with that stuff, and so it's not.
Do we have to have a motion to accept, having a contract with Garnet?
I mean, right now, I mean, like, I'll just go out and I'm gonna help you guys.
I don't think so, Susan, we've already done that, annual, we've already raised money for this function, so whether we use Bob or whether we use Garnett, I don't think that's an issue, in my opinion.
All right.
No, I'm not even worried about money, like, I'm just gonna help you guys, cause I've helped all my, up here, I'm from here, like, if you go up to, you know, like, we were joking about the cemetery, but I mean, my grandfather owned all the land around that Morris lot at one time, and all the way behind there, so.
Yep.
I'm from here, I grew up in a little here, so. Don't mind helping out.
We appreciate that, but we also,
Well, I know, I mean, later, I mean, if I send my guys, like, West Forest one's kinda, you know, like, I don't wanna hear how much my cemetery plots are worth, cause like, I brought my guys up to do, I mean, they threw the computer out, they had all their work on it, so. I made it, it's kind of a big boo-boo. Yours, when I look at it, is like, you guys have been thrown into a bad spot, so I mean, if you just get a copy of those deeds, we can check those. That's something I can bring my guy in, even, I don't even mind, then I probably would, and you can pay for his day or whatever, but it's like, you know, it takes a few minutes, we can fly through that, look at those deeds. Riding around takes, you know, like if we pull up and there's porches, 90% of what you're gonna find here is decks, porches, stuff like that. When we pull in, it's like, it's 2 minutes, it's a 6x10 OP.
Well, most people that have done that they've had to go through AUPC, right, to get a permit or?
Technically, they're supposed to, and I can tell you, like, if this is no different than any town up here, most of them don't, you know, there's a ton of stuff. That's why, one of the reasons you eventually do need to revalue, cause you go out and find a lot of people build stuff without it, so.
Right, that's increased the value of the property and you've got, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, that's the stuff that you do, like in here, I don't know, like, the hard part is you're working behind the board plus Bob, and I don't know how many times, you know, how much time was spent actually.
he's gone around every couple years.
So he did go and look at stuff, so I mean, like, that's
I
like,
saw him out around last year.
so as long as, whenever you see somebody, I mean, if he's out doing the work,
And that's what that list comes from, I think, places that he needed to follow up.
and the best, so you look at those will, like, you look in the computer, or look on his card,
Mhm.
you'll see something that'll be like incomplete, there's different types of obsolescence,
I did
so.
see that word in a couple of them.
So if you-
So we'll know that when I pull them from that list.
I mean, there's different types of, like, somebody had a tree in land on your
Yeah.
porch, first thing he'd write is like, first one he might write damage, whatever, you know, if half the porch is gone, you might say, you know, or the porch is gone, you'd say, you know, you put a type of damage obsolescence, and then you go back and they're working on it the next year, half done or whatever. Say, or if you're building a new house, you're 50% incomplete, that's as of April 1st, so like right now, you're starting in August. So you have to gauge, you know, if you knew that, hey, they started this after April 1st, it's really for next year. You know, so if you're looking at something that's only 50% now, you'd say, well, was it really started, rather than worry about it, probably put it on, like.
Catch it up when it's
Catch it
done
up next year and
Yeah.
be mostly done or whatever, so.
I'm thinking, I probably should call Bob just to let him know,
Absolutely.
you know, so.
Yeah, and I mean, like, when you're talking to Bob anyways, just say, you know what, he's welcome to come, you know, if his wife starts feeling better and wants to, you know, I mean, I'm not trying to take his job,
No,
I work all over the state, he'll know who I am,
Yep.
I do revale after revale all the way everywhere, but, you know, I mean, if he wants to come back,
Well,
he knows that book and that stuff, maybe you
Yep.
can feather it along so you don't, cause a revale, like, yeah, West Forts only has 100 and whatever, but it's, you know, they're pretty expensive right now, they're 150, probably towns this size, 150 to 200, you know what I mean, is what they're getting, cause there's so few of people like what I do, you know, so.
Yep.
You know, and if you're saying, all right, we got, I don't know, what do you got, 300 counts or 400, I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know,
Some
just,
think that.
I'm guessing,
I was thinking.
oh, is it less? That's,
Yeah.
Less
that's
than
good,
that.
so I
Yeah,
mean,
a lot less.
you know, like, cause the Forks has like 110, 120, I figured you'd have more because of Moxie
And
Moxie and
Pleasant Pond.
Pleasant High.
Yeah, and Pleasant Pond.
That's what I mean,
Yeah.
there's still a small chunk, just the north end, so,
Right.
yeah.
I think at this point, cause we gotta get this,
I would just like plan on probably a couple days, if you can get, if you just take a day or two, make sure you got all that, then, you know, either, you know, day at the end of the week or next week, I can come up and, you know, it'd only take a day or two to get it so you can commit, so. When you wanna do your commitment, you don't have to have a regular meeting like this, but you do have to post your meeting, say this is to do the commitment, cause it's I don't know when your normal commitment goes out. And when are your bills normally due?
Normally they do November 15th.
And so you're good, you got a little bit of time, then normally what happens, we have some towns, you know, like they're due September 15th. I had town of East Millinocket last year, we helped them, cause they lost their assessors and they lost every person in the town, similar to you guys. They had, they didn't get committed till like February. Like, they're committed, you know, 2 months after they're due, or 3, so, you're not in any super bad straw.
We sent our-
25, I was more concerned when I was like looking at the stack you have right now, cause that looks like 25 deeds just this last 3 or 4 months, so.
That'll be next year though. right?
Yeah, that'll be next year, I'm just saying, your number of deeds, I was like extrapolating that, I'm like, boy, that's a lot of deeds for a little town.
It seems like a lot of places up on Moxie are changing hands right now.
oh, wicked,
You know,
Because of the power lines, or like,
attrition, really, a lot of
older people.
older
older
people,
folks, I
yeah.
think, yeah.
Probably a lot of that stuff, I mean, you might be like Care Tunk.
Yeah.
No, there's no real sales, they just
No, it's just a
going to
transfer.
family to, or
Absolutely.
going into trust, or going.
That's what a
into-
lot of them are, 'cause I've looked at them, it's transfers to the kids or into
That's
trust.
that's a good thing, that's actually a really good thing, if you stay in appraisal town, then I'd recommend never leaving the manual, because, you know, like, real market value, if I went out and appraised all these, would be, you just skyrocket your value of your town, you know? You're using the state manual, the way state valuation works, they look at last year's sales for next year's state valuation. And who knows, right now, we're at a point where things could just go off the deep end, you know, and why super inflate your town, you could, might not have another sale for quite some time, so.
right.
Alright, beer o'clock.
Do you need anything, Kevin, you need a question or anything?
Thank you so
No.
much.
Absolutely.
I just have one question, and I don't know if this is appropriate now, but my tax bill came and it has the wrong address on it. It says, it's addressed to us on Indian Pond Road.
So you can,
And so I
they can
called
take the rest.
Judy about it, and I paid the taxes, but I asked her if I could have a corrected copy of the tax bill. And she said that she couldn't do that because you can't change something in Trio. I didn't understand what it was all
Was
about.
it just your address is wrong?
Yes,
I wouldn't change tax bill for an address, I would make sure you got your and then correct your address for this year.
well,
Yeah,
that's
I
what I
think-
meant.
No,
I just would like
yeah.
that somehow corrected, so I'm not getting, if I show the tax bill to someone that looks like I live on the Indian Pond Road.
No, I'm just saying, when they
So
do
it's
the,
okay that you can do that before you send out my tax bill this year? Is that,
they can correct your address anytime now, so I mean, like,
she
and I.
kept saying it was related to Trio and it wouldn't allow you to change something, so, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, we have central parties now that.
I can tell you, they won't change your tax, you know, like, if you got your tax bill and you don't like the looks of it because of your address, nobody's gonna change your,
Well,
Tax bill.
I paid it last year and I lived with it, but I don't want
Want
a
it
new
to-
tax bill.
how did it get delivered to you, then, like?
Well, they
just-
know us at the post office, obviously, but, I just thought for my own records.
Send me an email with the address that you, just say, this is the correct address for mailing of my tax bill.
Okay.
I'll look at it tomorrow or
Okay.
the next day.
And it doesn't matter as long as it's by the time you send out the tax bills.
Right, but if you send me an email,
Okay.
that'll,
It'll ring.
Yeah, you.
it'll
Okay,
prompt me to look at it
Mhm.
and then if it needs to be changed,
Okay.
then we'll, we'll work on it together.
Okay, thank you.
It's supposed
Yeah,
to
we'll
be
get that.
3 Moxie.
3 Lake Moxie Road,
Right.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty simple.
We can get that done.
Okay. And it's always come to that, I don't know where the Indian Pond Road came out, but,
We can look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Anybody else got anything with Garnett? Heard him say great call.
Get your list together, and I'll get one of me or one of my guys. or-
We really appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I'll get that stuff together.
Yeah, sounds
Probably
good.
tomorrow.
All right.
All right, thank you, Garnet.
See what my glasses are.
All right, we'll move on to, number 5, the emergency generator.
Craig told me that if we don't, lock into that, by September 30th, that quote is not gonna be good. And we're looking at what, 12, I forget what it was, 12,000 or something like that.
So what's the, just curious, what's the issue? Didn't we raise that money during the,
Yeah, but we haven't collected it yet.
oh, we don't have it, I see.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
problem.
so we gotta pay it up front, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and so,
Oh,
and it needs to be in before the ground freezes.
I understood that,
He
yeah.
said by September 30th, that price is no longer good, you can't hold that generator at that price. So,
Okay, I understand now.
what, I'm just suspecting that, I just wanted to see, if we wanted to cancel it and delay that until next year. Because I don't see where we're gonna have that money by the end of September.
I don't see it either, do you, Evan?
By the end of September?
Yeah.
No,
Okay. So
I just wanna let him know.
because
No, I agree,
even if we get our taxes committed, our taxes aren't due until November
correct,
15th.
yeah.
So there's no real impetus for people to prepay a month in advance. Especially, I don't think we're gonna have cash flow replenishment until November.
Okay.
Right. So I'll just mention that to Craig.
Do we have to say anything to, the town people? Because we raised
Well,
it?
we've already, got the money approved from the townspeople. We have to make sure that they know in the annual meeting or even in the minutes that, it's been delayed,
Okay, I
due to
do
unforeseen
include this.
circumstances, whatever, that we can approach it.
No money.
Next year.
Yeah.
Let's just tell them we don't have any money.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
let them
kinda-
know.
Well, yeah,
Otherwise, it sounds like you couldn't get the generator or something, you know?
right. Yeah, then we'll, maybe
So
we can get
I
it in the
said,
spring, but when we
Okay.
get our money starts coming in, we wanna make sure it's,
Right,
Stays
that's
with it.
exactly.
I still
Once
think we
some
can get
stuff
this
from-
done before June,
so next spring you want me to write?
get it installed,
Yeah,
you know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
next year.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, talk to Craig, tell him that, so that quote will change a little bit, what you're saying, so. We'll have
Okay.
to,
The board recommends that the purchase of a generator be postponed until next spring due to lack of funds.
yeah, and then we'd have to have if it's gonna be a lot more, we'll have to have a special
Bring it to
town
the-
meeting,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
and go from there.
Well, I applaud your responsible fiscal management, that's good, thank you.
Oh, it's hurting us all.
No, really, I think, I mean, it's good to see that that's happening now, that's the way it needs to be.
Well, thank you. So yeah, I'll make a motion that we delay this until, next spring,
Second.
okay, favor? All right, moving on. Discussion regarding office hours. This is for me, I wanted to talk a little bit about, the hours for, the BMV and what's going on making sure that we have hours that accommodates everybody. For you to get your work done, Miss BMV agent. So right now, I understand you're doing 1 to 5 on Wednesdays.
1 to 5, yes.
In the past, we've done that split, we've always done Wednesdays, I like to continue the Wednesdays, but do you see, I don't know who and what, whether you split that every other Wednesday, like we did before, do you see any productive in that, or? This is more of a
this is-
discussion.
right,
You
so-
mean like morning versus afternoon?
Yeah,
like you used to-
like, you know, 'cause-
Yeah.
They
This
always
is
did.
what this is the way it is on the website, is I basically said, it's every Wednesday because right now I'm working at Barry's in the morning.
Okay,
It doesn't mean Wednesday afternoons don't work, then to contact me. And then we'll find, like, for instance, I'm meeting, somebody on, August 30th on Friday morning
Okay,
at 9 o'clock.
So you-
And-
okay.
And I'm totally okay with just, meeting people where they.
that's the way Denise does it as well.
This
She
is
has
a
her-
person who's only here, on the
Right.
weekends and.
That's right.
So,
And so I said, sure, I'll do it Friday morning at 9, so.
so with that being said, and I know, and I'm just doing this because of, I watched Denise do this. And you'll fall victim to doing a lot more of the custom stuff. And I remember Doris doing it right from Gary's store. I used to register my vehicle there. Would it be beneficial for you to cut your hours, your scheduled hours back, instead of running 1 to 5, maybe, 2 to 5, or 3 to 5? Cause
Or-
Denise
or
does
1 to
2
4.
hours, huh?
Yeah, maybe.
Cause she does 2 hours a week, but she also accommodates pretty much everybody.
Yeah, no,
So,
that.
I'm just trying to make it easier
yeah.
for you.
Yeah, well, I figured while I'm there, I can do other things, and
Okay.
can I just, comment on this, since it affects me?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I don't have any issues with, and I think that there was some misunderstanding about having other people in this office while I'm here. It's just that, it does, especially now that I'm new, it takes a tremendous amount of focus on my part.
Yeah.
And so, as long as, that I've got a place that is, that I can focus and be and concentrate. But I can't do it out here because I need the computer.
Okay, I understand, okay, now I understand where you're going with this. So, Evan, you had been doing 11 to 1 most days, is that what I understand?
Unofficially.
Okay. The overlapping of time, I agree with Susan, I've been registered vehicles on my own, and it is kinda cumbersome and overwhelming, and having, materials everywhere. Is there any way we can work this out to not overlap time? Maybe you break out at 1:15?
Sure. Yeah. I won't even come in on Wednesdays, then that won't be an issue.
Would that be an issue for you?
No,
No?
no,
Okay.
not at all.
We don't want to get into, how do I say this? I don't wanna have the same relationship with this board as the previous assessors had amongst themselves. We're all friends here, this is a small town, we're trying to do a service. It pains me to hear that there is conflict between us, because we're fighting for the same cause. We picked up quite the mess, and we're trying to move forward and do it the best we can. We all get overwhelmed at times. I hope that we can all bring ourselves to pull together and work together and be courteous to each other as we were in the past. Because it's just a job, it's just a town, there's only 40 people, something here, that it shouldn't be overwhelming, and coming between personalities. It wasn't before, and it shouldn't now, and I hope this can be resolved.
I think some of this too still has to do, we haven't really refined, key responsibility areas and who's responsible for what. And I think we're kind of still fleshing out, just learning tonight from, we've learned some from, I believe, what
Yep.
Evan had to say, from what Denise had to say, and what Garnet had to say, helping clarify what the roles are and what the responsibilities are.
100%.
We didn't really know that, you know what I mean?
I did find a
So-
file today, just while I was looking for that other stuff that has, job responsibilities that I will pull, and we can look at what they had prior to, and we can use that as a draft. And look at, and I can go through them and then scratch or add or
It's a
whatever.
good place to start, I like that.
And then pass it on to you and Justin and Evan and Susan. We all should have some input on what we're willing to do, what our strong points we weaknesses or weak points, whatever, to move forward with this. We have talked about it a couple times. I do, and I'll say this, Charlie, you gotta give some of this stuff up. I always ask you, give me something to do, and everything that Kevin new comes up, you jump right on it.
Yep, but you're dealing with RHR Smith
Yeah.
and the release of the audit, you point on getting Garnet in here, doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, right now, I do have a few things, that are, tasky, that fall in these gaps of like, who's gonna do this? And a lot of it, what I'm amazed about is how many people call and ask for tax cards.
Yeah.
How many people call, and ask for, you know, map and lot numbers.
Yeah.
And they wanna know, I have some people here because we had the 30-day notices and then, you know, the liens that they're like, I wanna pay our taxes.
Right.
Telephone call, I wanna pay my
30-day
taxes.
notices were due this weekend.
Right.
That's it.
And
That's the
so,
cutoff.
and so I've got the numbers and I'm like, you know, so Evan and I just need to say, I'm happy to call a guy.
Yeah.
But what happens, I think, and Evan, correct me if I'm wrong, when you have those taxes that are delinquent, every single day it's accruing interest.
Right.
So.
Except during the 30-day notice period.
So what I'm saying though, right, Evan, correct me if I'm wrong, every day that changes what that person owes, right, a little bit?
After the 30 days.
After the
Now,
30 days.
now that 30 days are done, yes,
Yeah.
now they are accruing every day. So during the 30-day notice period, they had a stagnant number they could pay off for
Right.
30 days. That number now is changing.
Right, and it
Right.
changes
Daily.
daily.
Right, so if somebody asks what my taxes are owed on
We need to know
Tuesday,
when their
it's
check's
like-
gonna be postmarked. Then we put the effective date in the system as their postmark date, and then that's what we give them as a payoff.
Like the postmark.
So you would need my help for that.
Yeah, and I wanna call these guys and just say, this is how much you owe
Yeah.
if you pay on this day. Is it the date on the check, or we can figure that out when we do it?
We'll
Because-
honor the date. I mean, I would say we honor the date
Absolutely.
on the
We're not,
postmark.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine, I didn't, yeah.
we're not the
Um,
IRS.
And you know, some of these, like this guy, he called, you know, it's 17th, it's due today, I just got it yesterday, and I don't get my mail, and they're saying. again, these
Send
are-
it back.
Yeah, these are the same cats, and some of, what I found, and anybody correct me if I'm wrong, was some of these 30-day notices, and I've got some right here, I think Justin may have some. These have come back, okay?
I know.
Now, what Lloyd has told me is that the taxpayer is responsible
I
for
know, we
giving us the
still wanna get
information.
a hold of them.
Right, but you know what I'm saying, you know, and at some point, it's like, you're chasing these people down, and you end up in dead ends to some place. I mean, I don't mind chasing them down, but I'm just trying to, you know,
Yeah.
so,
This
those
is
are.
a PO box that's unclaimed, so that's a new address. This is,
Who is it?
it's a cause these 30-day notices will be left in PO boxes and,
Connie's niece, Laura.
Oh,
this
I mow her
one,
lawn, she's had several addresses in the last couple of years.
so we just probably have to get an updated address and she'd probably be happy to pay it. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of these would be resolved if we were sending it to the right place.
I agree, and that's what I'm trying to do, you know, and I'll look at those. I don't know if Justin.
See,
has
this
any of
one,
those.
they tried 3 times, unable to forward, it's probably a new address. Or
Well-
they just didn't answer their door, and this requires
Well,
signatures.
Yeah, her phone numbers change, her address changed, I used to have it for lawn mowing, you know, and she changes her address and phone numbers frequently, more frequently than many people, from what I can.
I can't tell on this one, I can't see it.
Yeah, some of them I agree, see Cray, that was a transfer, that property transferred,
right.
and I don't know, so,
She's already paid, this one's already paid.
Oh, they have?
She got 2 different 30-day notices for 2 properties, and she paid both of them with one,
Oh.
that's one that just didn't.
Okay.
So, well, anyways, we just can sort some of this stuff out in the Tewksbury check, and some of that stuff. I don't mind doing it, I think that, to me, is primarily an assessor's work, but what
Absolutely.
these people, I just need information from,
Well,
like,
yeah.
from, you know,
Yeah.
like, how much do they owe if they pay this day, and that's like, when I talk to them, I can tell them what the deal is, so, right?
So, okay, so we're good with that?
So we don't need a motion on that article?
No, we don't need a motion for that. It was a discussion.
Good.
We'll move on. I understand that Evan, you're on vacation, so tax collector report, treasurer report.
Okay, so the tax collector report, I'll have an official report tomorrow.
Yeah, no worries.
The unofficial report tonight, is that what we've been talking about, 30-day notices were mailed out and were due this weekend. I have 10 days to file liens, and I wanna give these people that are addressing incorrect and stuff, that window to
Absolutely.
get their payments in.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna file at the very end of my 10 days.
Right.
So we're in that 10 days, just starting it now.
Okay,
So we wanna try to get and in the tax collector report tomorrow, I'll list how many we have left of 30-day notices that haven't been paid. And of course, we still have people who were liened last tax season who, are on our radar. And actually, we got somebody to pay a 30-day notice, but they owed last year's taxes, and that created an issue for me. So I haven't deposited that check yet, because I sent them a letter and said, if you paid all at once, you're golden. You know, otherwise I gotta take this money and put it over here to last year's taxes, and then you're gonna keep owing on, I'm like, just, so I'm waiting to hear back from that taxpayer. Hopefully they, you know.
So they paid, just theoretically, they paid 22 taxes, but not 19s or something like that. I mean, I'm just showing them.
Yeah, so they responded to my 30-day notice and paid that amount, but they also owed last year's amount, but I didn't know that when I sent the 30-day notices, or I would have
Right.
included it.
unlucky.
Anyway,
Okay.
so, so there is a little bit of money coming in from the tax collector side, but it's not much, it's just some of the last minute 30-day notice money
Okay.
that's coming in, and we unofficially here probably have about half or more of them in, so it's been going okay,
Okay,
but I'll put together the report tomorrow.
for file, yeah,
Yeah, for the file.
perfect.
Same with the treasurer's report, I don't have that done, but I will say that we have to be very mindful of, paying our accounts payable, especially big ticket items right now. And of course, if we get into too dire of straits, we have, reserve accounts that can cover us in short-term situations. I don't think we're there yet. I'll have a treasurer's report that has better numbers than that tomorrow for the file, and you guys can look at that too. I've just been kind of
Yep.
otherwise focused.
Evan, I just wanted to let you know that, Janice Malloy has asked, me, because I've been connecting with her several times, whether or not she's gonna get paid. And she's on the warrant or whatever, so.
She's in the AP file, in this
Yeah.
big signed file.
Okay, so I just let her know that tonight, because she emailed me again today.
Yeah, so normally I would put together, the AP checks for tonight's meeting. So tomorrow, I will look at those and, look at our, checking account. I'll send an email before I start cutting checks for AP checks, but I'll try to prepare that tomorrow too.
Okay,
But I don't know if I mean, I have to look at all of our expenses relative to our check balance. I think we're gonna be okay for this round, this month, but we should, I'll
It's
send
gonna
an email
get tight
before.
after this. I think we got, the biggest one we've got is holsters, but API, we've got,
You know,
couple
what's-
grand almost, cause of the computer issue we had back, then when it was dying, and so those are a couple of the big ticket ones that jump out at me. The rest of them was CMP, Consolidated, FOSS.
Actually, and part of this is my issue because of the BMV thing. We've got checks that are, or a check that needs to go with my report, to the state. So, and Evan, you asked for documentation, and I printed out the report that.
but that check
Was
is,
from the 7th, and then I had another report from last week, so if you can spend a little time with me maybe tomorrow and show me what you need and how to prepare what I need for you.
The $1,100 check that went through,
Yeah,
that was good?
right, but part of that goes to the state.
I give it back to you, right? The green copy?
Yes.
Okay.
No, but what I'm asking, what we need to do is cut a check for the state, and it goes with the report that I send out. And I think I'm gonna do it every 2 weeks, not weekly, because we just don't have enough activity to do it weekly. So there was like, it's $55.
Okay, so that goes through the AP process. You would put in a ticket for the assessors to sign off on, and then I'd cut the check.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm asking, is what is the process? And so I've got the two
You would need to
reports.
provide them with whatever they want to find it sufficient to pay that, whether it's just a copy of the bill, I guess.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I think it's what I printed was the trio report, and I can, highlight, cause there's.
So the trio report will give you the amount that you need a check for?
it's like,
Well-
is this a check to inland game and fisheries or something like that?
No, it's to the state, BMV.
Okay.
Well, if we see that, we sign it off and then we can pay it.
Right,
Because-
but there will be one for IF&W as well.
That's the one that, Judith always asks for it's out of the blue, she would ask for a check for
Right.
them.
Exactly,
But
so,
the BMV ones were being done in Moscow anyway, that's why we didn't see them.
right, exactly, so,
Yeah, just put it through the AP process and we'll just, unless it has a different due date than once a month, then we'll just send it with the other checks.
yeah, I'm gonna have to check with BMV that they are accepting of every other week. Because at this point, that's what,
You can ask them if they can allow it to go monthly, and if they don't, then ask for bi-weekly. We're such a small town, we generate such small revenue, they probably will say, okay, understanding.
okay, does Denise do it?
I don't know, I'd have to
Okay.
ask her, she's
I
probably.
asked Janice, and she does it weekly, she
They
said
probably
once in a
will.
while she does it bi-weekly.
Yeah.
But yes, I'll check with BMV tomorrow when I'm doing my hours,
Okay,
and just make sure that she is okay with that,
okay.
or that they are, and then, so with every registration, there is money that goes to the town, the excise tax, there's money that goes to the agent, and then there's money that goes to the state. So every single, so it's not just like, you have to add them up, that's so I've got a spreadsheet, I can give you that, I don't know what you guys want, I guess, is.
All Charlie and I and Justin need is a request for documentation of your spreadsheet, or just what you paid, what you took in and what you're paying the state.
Okay.
Not, we don't need it broke down how much you got of your agent fee, that's that, but,
Well, you would, cause that's another check that needs to be issued,
oh, I see, to you.
yes,
Okay, yeah,
so.
that's true, good point. Yeah, so just give us that copy of that spreadsheet and have it, the sums on the end of it.
Okay, and then I'll have the warrants or the reports, the trio reports as a backup so that you can see it.
Staple it right to it, yep, and then we can initial it like we do everything
And then I'll file
else.
those every time I send this information to BMV. But right now, it's waiting for a check.
Okay.
So, maybe before we go, I can, I'm new at this, I don't know how to do it in the proper way.
Before we go,
so-
when we adjourn this meeting, you can go print that off.
It's already printed.
Oh, then go grab it, we can initial it right now, and Evan can add that to his AP when he
Okay,
does that, his work.
perfect. All right, I'll get it,
Easy peasy.
good, thank you.
Anything else on that? How about the clerk's report?
I have a few things here that I just wanted to, go over. Currently, these videos that we are doing are on my personal, because I started videoing these, a year and a half.
Oh, are you talking about those videos?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm wondering if we should do one that is associated with the Google Workspace that we have as a town, so that it is more official, it's more professional, it's not under my, personal, YouTube place.
Yeah, make it happen. Talk
Okay,
to,
I, that's,
talk to,
okay,
what's
I
his
just,
name
you
there?
know, and then we'll have to put that on the
Justin?
website or something.
No, the guy at the,
Oh,
Tom, no, who's your contact there?
Oh, Peter Kaufman.
Peter.
And then as far as the minutes, the agenda, again, the way Google Workspace works is that you guys can go in, and so for instance, I've got a bunch of comments here to help me remember what I wanna talk about, and I'm willing to like show you guys how it works, but instead of me asking, I guess I need for you guys to tell me what you need me to do. Theoretically, you can go in there at any time. We're gonna have an agenda, and you can add comments there. You can add agenda items if you want to. Right now, I'm managing it, and I'm happy to continue to manage it. I just need to know.
You're doing a great job.
Okay, so in other words, like, I sent out an email and I said, I'm going to post this as soon as I hear from all three of you. And I didn't hear from any of you.
Oh, I'm
so-
sorry, I didn't get that part, I thought you.
Okay, well, anyway.
Yep.
The point is that, it's responsibility to me, and I just wanna make sure that I'm capturing everything that you guys need captured in the agenda, and, it's important, I think, to make sure that it's done and then sent to Peter so that he can post it before the meeting.
well, I think that, you know, I mean, just speaking for myself, the whole Google Workspace, I don't really understand it, I don't know how it works.
Right.
Apparently, I probably use it a little bit, but don't really understand how I'm using it.
Mhm.
So, at least for myself, I need to understand how it works before I
Okay.
can do that. And you may have tried to show me, but I have,
No, I really,
You know.
but that, like I said, I just don't know if you got, I don't wanna force this on you. If you-
You can see Liz, and she,
I love it, I knew that was gonna happen.
educate me.
she can educate you, take your classes, I'll go with you.
I love it.
But I think that's exactly what she was talking about. For people like us that
Right.
try to get back into the tech wave.
Yeah,
Susan's
it's-
already there, and she left us behind, and, yeah.
Well, tomorrow she's gonna teach me how to actually scan a tax card and attach it to an email and send it, because I make a copy and snail mail it.
Yeah.
Well, I have,
Hey, I
it's
understand.
all part of this Google Workspace business, and
Yeah.
I don't really understand
Well,
it, but,
yeah.
you know.
Okay,
There's a lot of
so
things I don't
I'm gonna
understand.
continue to help,
Please do, I can tell you that, I appreciate it, I do look at it, and
okay,
if I had anything different, I would have said something.
okay, and then, Evan, the, closeout that did I do it okay last week?
Yep.
The report, that when I entered the BMV information, and then I printed out that, I closed it out for the day, so, I know when I was doing dog licenses in January, Judith had to make sure that she didn't have, and I don't know what the terms are, but that she didn't have a report in
You
the
did the
process.
preview of the closeout, which is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I just wanna make sure that I'm doing, that what I did last week was correct, and that's all I need to do?
Yeah.
Okay,
I thought, when I gave you a green
yeah, no, you
sheet back
did,
up.
yep,
Thought I gave it with
you
check
did,
marks.
and you initialed the, it's not a warrant, what is it called? The report,
It's a,
journal entry, I don't
it's
know
a
what.
preview, it's a, I forget the name of it. I can circle where the number you entered into Trio matches the piece of paper that you generated with the
Okay.
client. That's what I was looking for.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that what I did last week, cause I know I didn't do it right the week before.
I think it works for me, and, you know, Karen will let us know in a year from now if it's not the right method,
Okay.
Yeah.
but I think that's the right way.
Perfect, okay, and then I just wanted to let you guys know that the election stuff is starting to come in strong here again, and,
17 days.
Evan, I sent your notes to Peter for the website updates in terms of the tax commitment.
I had some questions on that, I don't know if all of, did I still have some question marks on there, or were they all correct?
What I told him was to keep it hidden until he hears from you or me to, you know, so I don't know how complete that was, but if you
I
need
think
to
it's
see it
fairly
again.
complete, but I would like to see it one more time.
Okay, I'll ask
And we do
him.
wanna get information out there to people, at least have an address on the website for mailing tax bills in case they get
Right.
confused. We're getting a lot of stuff to box 77, some to box 35,
Yeah,
some to, well, really actually not much to Judy's house, a lot less than I thought we would. We got one and it's been a month since that came in, so
Excellent.
I guess,
so I'll ask,
but
Peter.
still having it on the website would be good.
Yeah, I'll ask him to print another proof of that page, and I'll send it to you for your final, comments,
Appreciate it.
and then we can
Then you can publish it
update,
on the
publish
site.
it, yeah. Okay, and then as far as, you know, I'm just now, you know, as far as job descriptions and everything goes, my understanding about filing, I'm just seeing a lot of stuff that was landing in my inbox, today. Tax commitments, a bunch of, just stuff that has nothing to do with the clerk's job, and I just wanna be clear. And I looked on several different websites, about what a clerk's position is, and filing for you guys is not one of them. I do licenses, I do, you know, elections, there's a lot of stuff, but a secretary is not one thing that I'm drawing the line there. I'm just saying that, I'm willing to help out, really, but, I just don't want my inbox to be a place where everyone is just gonna put stuff where then I have to be responsible for figuring out who needs it, where it goes, where it's gonna be filed.
I didn't put a tax commitment in your inbox, I'm not sure
No, I'm not saying
how
that
that
you
got
did.
there.
I'm not saying, there were like 4 things in there tonight, it could be Justin who's getting the mail. I don't know who it is, and I'll, you know, talk to Justin about it too. If you guys disagree with that, I wish you'd say something. Like I said, I looked it up online to find out exactly what a clerk is supposed to do, and.
You don't have to go there. I think we all understand, well, it's a small enough office, we can do our own filing, and we can ask for assistance from each other
Right,
without
yes,
just throwing it. I understand you don't want your inbox to become,
A
the
dumping
catch-all,
place for-
yeah, exactly.
well,
Paper that
because
nobody knows what to do with.
I prefer to file my own stuff anyway,
Right,
exactly, I do too.
so I know where it's
for
Then you can
sure.
find it.
yeah, exactly.
So I just wanted to, you know,
No, I think-
clear the air as far as that goes.
Yep,
but
no
I
worries. Anything
appreciate
else,
you
any other,
listening and
any
considering.
other issues?
None,
Okay,
nope,
can we move on to the acceptance of the minutes?
Were you going to make a motion to accept my report?
Oh, I make a motion, we accept the clerk's report.
My second. All in favor?
Thank you.
Okay, the acceptance of the minutes. Of last month, I would assume, right?
Yes, I did add, yeah, exactly, last month. Okay, and so, again, because they're on Google Drive, you can read them, but, so in the future, do you want me to print them and email them to you? Do you want me to give you a hard copy? What is the board's preference?
My personal opinion, that was last month's meeting.
Mhm.
Unless we had something to follow up on and it was carried over to this month's, I don't know why we go through that. It's already on the website, we've already gone through it, I mean, am I missing something?
No, the minutes are not on the website until you approve them.
Oh, I see.
No, I
All
don't,
right,
I don't publish these until.
well, I for one.
Yeah, that's pretty much the standard, I think, that have to be approved. before
Okay,
they can-
I for one am the type of guy and I want to be a part of the team that says, you know what, everything we say here is public knowledge.
Mhm.
Everything that we have for minutes, it's on the videotape, that's already out there, so.
Yeah.
You know, I accept the minutes from last month,
I
Okay.
second.
All
all
right,
in favor.
so,
I don't think you have to, what I'm saying is you don't have to make another copy, send them to us, unless there was something that somebody wanted to bring it back up to the
Right,
attention.
maybe it's an
Right,
accuracy issue.
I think the general concept is that I understood what you guys were trying to say and that I conveyed it properly or accurately in the minutes, so that
Oh,
if I
see.
said something like completely crazy, that's not what you meant, that's kind of what the, you're just reviewing them to make sure
Well, if
that
anybody
what-
had anything different or was in question, we can go to the video.
Yeah.
Right? So, I think we're good, but
Okay.
thank you. That would be, my stance anyways.
So we've accepted them, right?
All right, any old business? Okay. Nothing that we had outstanding from the last, other than the 911 that's Justin's still working on?
Old business, I did send an email today, I do have, he's following up, it was Bonnie Baker that had the lot and, map numbers and
Yep.
lots. I found, I think, 2 of them, the other 3 I couldn't find, I gave that to him, cause he wants to verify.
Yep.
Because basically how I got this was I have this list, and I went down the Moxie Road, and I looked at the numbers, and I'm like, okay, there's 183, there's 216, and in between is there, so it must be that. So I'm glad that he's gonna, just like fact check that, but the other 3, which are all down Hangtown, I couldn't find anything. And I went down and talked to the people, and they don't know what they are,
Okay,
so, cause they live down the end of Carroll and Larry. So I've kind of pushed that back on him, and he knows, because I think that's all kind of,
right,
addressing and that stuff, so, what I'd like to do tomorrow is at a time, and Evan and I can communicate later, go over some of these nagging little tax things. We've got somebody that sent a check for this year's taxes.
Yeah.
And anyways, it's the exact amount as last year's taxes, which is confusing, but we have confirmed that she actually wants it for this year's taxes, and then either get a refund or an additional bill. Which seems funny to me, but there's these little things that we,
Yeah, they probably came in.
So she confirmed that she's prepaying taxes?
Yeah, I got a voicemail.
Okay.
She said that's for 2024's, so.
Okay.
I'm like, hey, it's $800 we could use, isn't it?
It is.
Actually, along with old business, after we got this, I got something else.
So, anyways, that's just some of that, that's all, pretty much all.
Other old business, Judy refused her last paycheck, it's
That's right.
sitting in the vault. I reached out to Karen a long time ago, when I say a long time ago, it was probably 10 days ago.
Yeah, I remember saw the email.
And, I'm not sure where we stand on that, but she doesn't want that last paycheck, so I'm of the opinion that we cancel it, but I would like the auditor's green light on that before I cancel it.
I can follow up with that.
Okay.
I'll push that, I'll get back on that email, I'll find it, and I will.
I'm trying to find out too from Judy if she wants like half the month through the 12th, you know what I mean?
I mean,
Like this is a whole
Did
month.
she give you anything in writing, or just,
She told me verbally she was gonna refuse it, and then the envelope says refused on it.
she wrote,
So that's-
refused on the envelope?
It's written,
All we
and
have
we
to
have
do
that
is that
envelope.
documentation.
Yeah,
My question to you, Evan, is, when we decided we were gonna do this, and I did the same, is part of that payment should have gone to you. Do you
Yeah.
want your partial payment?
No.
Okay. So I will reach out to, what's her name, and I will push her
Find
to
out.
get,
What do we do?
Yeah, and she's definitely refusing it and doesn't want it, so
I will
I
follow,
don't-
You're
none of it.
following up with who?
what's her name?
Karen.
Karen.
We just wanna make sure, how do we do that, you know?
Yep, I will make sure that, whether how to handle it, I'll take care of that one.
Yeah.
I'll do that one tomorrow, time permitting it.
Yeah, if you look at the emails, her contact information.
It's on there, yeah, I remember seeing it, and I was gonna do it the last time I talked to you, and we were still waiting, and then we had to talk to Evan about whether he wanted his partial payment or
Right.
not.
Right,
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
18 days or whatever it was.
alright,
What's Karen's last name? Do you know? I just said Karen with RHR Smith, is that good enough?
that's fine, yeah.
Oliveri.
Yep.
Took me a minute, Nate.
Now I have to spell that.
So, everybody good with old business?
I am.
Alright, new business, I have this two little things I got in the mail. About MMA, nominations and, elections. Do you wanna participate?
Not me.
Neither do I. So,
A lot of the MMA ones, just so you guys know, and when they come in to the
Yeah.
office,
Yeah.
I send them to everybody, cause it's not up to me to
no,
decide.
this came
Came in the mail.
in the mail with the
Yeah.
ballot and
But
all that.
I think we get an email invitation too, and I send it to everybody, and then
Yeah.
I put it in the MMA file.
Yeah.
It's not up me to decide whether you might wanna go to one of these.
No,
things.
no,
So-
yeah, no, I
so
understand.
let everybody know.
I just wanted to give you the opportunity if you wanted to cast a vote in their election.
No, I'm good.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
Yeah.
I will say this too, I looked at the road stuff, and I gotta follow up, and I gotta call the state and talk to Phil. Apparently, there's some monies that we can get that will go just for capital changes for the Moxie Road. And they took it last year, $2,400 or something to that effect, and put it in a fund for a future. I'll show you the documentation. I don't know if you have a separate account for that, or if that just went to the general fund or something. And I just wanna find out whether we wanna continue to do that, or what, but we have to guarantee that it goes to capital projects.
Which would be the long-range road account, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know, if that's what I gotta ask, that one question, I'm not sure if it does.
Because I think that's kind of basically, is a savings account, so when we need to redo the road, we've got.
Right, but I don't know
Which
how
means
long
we
this
get capital.
lasts, the way I read it, I
Right.
just was kinda confused.
Yep.
And there's also, cause I also wanna see, and with our maintenance fund of our road, do we want to try to get somebody to seal it, the cracks on that road, like we've done in the past?
I just got a bill from, well, that's for the striping. Yeah, I talked with Phil about that, and
Yeah.
I always wonder about the value of that, and whether it's a,
Well, it's pretty well
Con-
destroyed now, and I'm,
that's what I'm saying, the cost versus
Yeah.
benefit, how's that work
Yeah.
out, it's like,
That
you're just
road-
pissing into the wind.
Is
you know what I mean?
CMP gonna step up and do any?
nothing, no, cause our fire assessors made sure of that, I'm a little pissed off about that, excuse me, I'm a little frustrated with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, we could've had.
Something happened there that we don't know about, I don't know
I can
about.
tell you what happened. Well, I can tell you exactly what happened. They approached us, the town and the county, and offered them, $1 million, cause that's what we paid to have that road paved.
Wow, $1 million to pave that road?
That's, thereabout roughly, yes. Yeah, to have that Moxie Road done from top to bottom.
That's not what they presented here though.
This is what,
Originally,
originally,
Okay,
so they were gonna take care of that originally.
okay.
And then the town said, the county and the town, and we said we were gonna follow whatever the county goes on. They said, okay, we'll take that, but we're gonna hold you on the hook for 3 years, for warranty work, just in case something doesn't happen. And then GMP said, no, that's not the way it's gonna happen. So then they came up, okay, we'll fix with whatever first, the next step was, they decided they're gonna run all their trucks up Troutdale Deadwater, and they gave those landowners $650,000 to do all that extra work, culverts, dirt, excavation, all that stuff from that whole Stream Road back way, right by my house, Troutdale. Then they came to us and told us that they wanted to run on our roads before we lifted our frost,
I remember that.
Right,
frost,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right, yeah.
posted signs.
Right,
And if we did, we gave them permission, then they would pay us for any damages, and they took video, they said they took video.
But this was just from, like, the power line to,
Well,
to
no,
the
they
corner,
wanted to do
right?
the whole thing
Oh,
first, 'cause they wanted a truck up through,
okay, right.
instead of trucking up Deadwater,
right.
Troutdale.
Yeah.
So we lost, any compensation from, and I'm not saying that it was all their trucks, but they did contribute, because that was a brand new road, they did contribute to some of that damage. We had that opportunity to recoup some money to put into our road fund, and we lost it, and it was a little frustrating for me to watch happen.
How do we lose it, Dave?
Well,
Because-
they didn't give him a deal, I mean, they
No,
didn't allow that.
Oh, you mean they reneged?
No,
No,
they told, we let
you didn't
Phil,
wanna make a
the
deal.
county guy, make the decision, we ran on their short tails. And the county said, we'll take your money, we'll take the deal, but we only want 3 years of a commitment for
Right.
insurance, for a warranty.
Right,
And that's when Evergreen CMP
Yeah.
said,
no
no,
deal.
we're not gonna stay on the hook for 3 years,
So they
we'll-
didn't do
we'll go-
anything.
another way.
I mean, anything would have been better than nothing.
Well, that's what I said. And-
I got you.
And so apparently that was, and seeing the road, because I drive it every day, I was a little frustrated, but still am a little bit. I couldn't believe that we gave up an
Yeah,
opportunity to have,
Basically, that road redone.
yeah, I mean, the opportunity to have,
right,
whether it was $650,000 or $1 million or whatever. it was.
right,
Goes a long ways.
It goes a long ways.
Yeah,
anytime you can get
but
rid.
if the county wasn't really willing to go along with that,
Well, the county was until they threw the warranty up there,
Right.
3 years. And then, that was the breaking,
that's what blew the whole thing
that's
up.
what blew the whole thing up.
And was that the county's doing, wanting that?
We let Phil make the decision, yes.
Okay.
I say we with the prior,
Yeah,
whoever was,
the assessors, yeah.
and then I thought that was, and I'll be honest with you, I remember Charlie talking to me about it, and I was like, I don't know enough about it. I would have followed suit with the county as
Right,
well,
right.
initially to get started, to see
But
what,
now they got nothing,
now we got nothing, no, correct.
wow.
We got a broken road. And I don't think that they did a good job in the first place.
Well, the real problem with the road when all the damage happened was that the thaw in December, and then the
Right.
heavy trucking that was going on at that time.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if you can go up and like temporarily post a road in a situation like that, say for 2 weeks, you can't use it, cause it's,
I think we could
But I
have,
think that's where where the damage was really done,
I
is
agree
right
with
around
you.
that period. of
I agree
time.
with you,
Yeah.
and there was some really heavy trucking coming through there.
I mean, we
And
posted,
they even
it was
said-
spring-like conditions, and we posted it in the spring for a reason,
I know.
and so.
Yeah.
I agree.
They even said it when they were here
Yeah.
that evening, they admitted that was when the majority of the
Yep.
damage had been
Yeah,
done.
we just tried to hold them over a barrel and it didn't work out, I guess. Anyways, long and the short, I'm checking into that, I gotta, I called the state and I didn't get anywhere with them. I'll try again this week and get a hold of Phil and see where we can get with, whether we can add that to our long-range fund or how that actually
How
gets.
that all worked.
Yeah. That's what I have for, new business.
I just said, I didn't know to bring it up now, but just, it's that time of year when I'm trying to allocate money for expenses in the off-season, and are we still looking at, and perhaps you don't even know of it yet, because maybe it's done, but are we still looking at around a 20% tax increase, do you think?
I don't really have a good sense for that. I don't
Okay,
think
you
it's, I don't
probably
think
don't
it's
now.
gonna
I
be
was-
that
yeah.
much, no.
Good.
No, we were talking about that earlier, I
I-
started
you
setting
know,
money aside.
I'm very new
Now, I'm
at,
not bitching about it, I just wanna know how much I gotta set aside.
I'm very new at this side of the equation, and, so I've never been through this process, but it seems to me that if we do experience any, it will be much smaller than that.
Yeah.
You know, my initial reactions might have been skewed that way, but I don't think so, now that
And I don't know, that somebody tossed that out and, because we knew we had shortfalls to make up. And I'm not bitching about anything, I just gotta know how much I gotta set aside for going in and
Well, you know.
Labor Day,
No, you know, I don't know. because
No,
I've
that's
not been
fine, we'll
through-
go with it, when it comes, we'll deal with it, so. I
Yeah.
thought you might, somebody do, it's no big deal.
No, I mean, it would be uneducated guesses on my
Right.
part, really, I
No
think.
problem. Thank you.
Is that the biggest font that we can have on that screen for the
Well-
agenda?
It was a bigger font before.
Oh, there we go, that's perfect.
It's
Except
probably
for
It
better
doesn't have to
than
be
me.
quick.
No,
I
so
think-
what happens is that it
It
does
doesn't
it to
fit.
this screen too, and I was trying to
Oh,
figure out,
I see.
so now I'm typing and I've got like,
Oh, yeah, oh, it doesn't
yes.
differentiate.
No,
see.
I was looking into that, if that's possible.
Well, maybe just when we're all sitting down in the beginning, it could be big enough that we could read it, and then we don't need to really read it again after that.
Right, right. It's also on the website, so.
I did look at that, yeah,
Yeah.
earlier, that's great, no problem. It was nice, very nice. It saves a lot of paper. So we need to print that all the time.
It seems like it would work, but, you know, I think writing what's on that is perfect. I will,
I use it to write.
I will do that, print one and make sure that you guys have
Yeah,
them. Yeah, I think that's important, 'cause
and I need one to follow to,
of course, and so does Charlie, yeah, I think that's a good idea, and I'm just typing everything, so.
and even, you know, anybody here, that way you know what's coming up, you can almost mentally prepare it.
Yeah.
in your head, so.
Yeah. Okay,
Anybody else got anything? I make a
Seems like I
motion.
did, but it slipped my mind now.
Well,
so-
tomorrow's Wednesday, but I will be coming in tomorrow in the morning
Okay.
to finish those 2 reports.
Yeah.
And the AP stuff, but I'll leave in the morning also.
yeah, and I can stay out of the office 7:01, I normally, because I leave Barry's at noon, but, you know, whatever, I don't have to be here before then. I like to sort of get in here and kind of get my stuff out and get my head wrapped around. Eventually, it won't be as, you know, challenging for me to do this, but right now, it still is a little bit, you know, just,
I think it's nice to keep the steady hours, whatever they end up being. I was always confused, is this a morning week,
I
is this
feel
an
the
And I needed to
Anyway.
hear that, really, because sometimes,
It
you
was
know,
awful, and no matter if it was a morning week, I was busy in the morning, I mean, it never fit anyway, so. it
I
was
feel the
confusing.
same way, that we should be consistent, and then to leave it wide open, that.
Then you have these by appointment, I think that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's the best of.
so I'll leave it to you guys about the office tomorrow, whether you overlap, but just keep in mind that each one of you have, papers and documentation and files to take care of, and just be respectful of, each other's space when it comes to, you know, your office hours and getting your stuff done that's important and all that, so.
Okay, before you guys leave though, I do wanna get those, the B and B stuff out.
Yes, please, go grab it now.
We're all
Let's read
set.
it.
Yeah, I was gonna go right out the door.
Well, we're gonna call this a meeting,
I was gonna make a motion to adjourn,
Right.
second.
all in favor?
Motion to adjourn at 8:02.
Nice.
That's better than some of the ones we've had.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
That was really
It's
great.
only 8:00.
We're
We're
street.
moving right along.
I think it was the
That's my
first one,
job.
I kicked my eyeballs all the way out.
I hated being there at 9:30, 10
Well,
o'clock.
there's no
I
need
know.
for that.
No, there isn't.
No,
No, there isn't.
no need,
Um,
especially when the agenda is up ahead of time and,
Yep.
yeah, that's right.
Thank you for coming, folks.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, appreciate everything, young lady.
So just reach out on email or,
I'll send you an email with the address, is that what, yeah.
And Susan,
Want,
Yeah,
and,
when you go sit at that computer,
I'll make
is
sure.
that where you're
that
going?
yes,
Well, I'll look and see
Would
what-
you,
Well, and I-
make
I
sure
don't
that
know,
Garnett
but
signed
I
out his
don't
email?
remember exactly,
Oh,
I
yes.
didn't understand anything
And
about
we're on
it.
three.
okay, wait, so
We're on
this is
three.
one of them, and I've got the other one in the other room,
Yep.
so.
Okay, because the bill had
He
been
just texted me and wanted me to make sure it was
Yeah,
done.
so if there was ever an issue, we can say this is where we sent that.
Yes, exactly.
Good.
And
But
that
for
makes
future
total
ones,
sense.
we can,
Yeah, that's good,
Yeah.
that's good.
so we
And
won't,
somehow I just got in there wrong, because I always got them to 3 like Boxy Road, but they probably weren't using Trio, you know?
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
I don't
Yeah, it just happened, it
That's
was, it
not
was changed for some reason.
But anyway, like, I will make sure that before they go out, that we have the right
Yeah,
address, that
that's
seems-
fine,
that
I can
seems
send
okay.
that, no
Thanks,
problem.
Evan.
Thank you
Yes,
very
no.
much.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, I'm
Good night,
gonna
Night.
be- I'm
Evan,
gonna-
do you have a good vacation anyway?
Yeah, I'm just really tired,
I bet. It's a long day coming back from Portland, I understand.
yeah,
And then,
I was worn out to start with,
I imagine. Thank you for making the effort, though, really.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'll work on the reports tomorrow, so you guys
Yep.
know what plan we have.
Yep.
Stuff like that.
Sounds
Evan,
good,
do you
thank
mind-
you.
do
All right.
Evan, do you mind just looking at this for a second and just, this is what, okay, so this is the one that I did last week, and this is the one from the 7th, and then see how this one you have a real estate payment with the motor vehicle, so I think if I can make this,
Well, this is mine.
I printed this because this was the report for 8/9. The closeout on.
I did this report.
Well, yes, you
You,
probably
cause you
did.
shouldn't close out real estate payments, I should close out real estate, so this
No,
is
so
probably my
you did-
report.
It is your report, but
perfect.
my information, cause all I did the first week was just put the data in and I didn't close it out. So that's why I'm saying I did it wrong this week.
No, you didn't close it out here either, you just did a preview, which is what I want you to do, just do the preview, I'll close
Okay,
it out.
okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
you print me a preview of what I'm looking at with your entries, I'll add my entries and do my preview and then my closeout.
Okay,
And my
so,
closeout will include yours and mine.
Okay.
And then I'll take all the checks of yours, all the checks of mine and go deposit them. I don't wanna close out this report
oh,
till I'm
'cause-
ready to go to the bank. The preview's okay,
oh, cause
But this-
Janice
this-
told me that she definitely closes out her BMV and they're separate. But
But
if
she doesn't use
But I
Trio
don't
either.
care how
does
she
she?
does.
True, okay, and that's fine, perfect, then I'll do it this way. So this is what I have to send to the state, and basically it's $20 from this one, $20 to the state, see how it says state, and then state is 35. And so I've got 35 and 20, and so the end amount is $55. So I don't know, that's the hard part, is that you have
you're gonna need to have
a
a
spreadsheet or something,
or
right?
just take a copy of each one of these cash
And
receiving
highlight
reports.
This, and then the agent amount.
And
So that's what I'm saying, is that it's not super clear, but I do have a spreadsheet that sort of,
somebody's gonna have to check your work from entering these into that spreadsheet. And then the spreadsheet gets paid, because that's where the errors could occur, so somebody's
so
gonna,
that's
somebody's
why I
gonna go
said I
audit
could put these two things with,
the spreadsheet.
and then these guys, yeah,
And
that
then they
will
say,
be double checking.
what's on these two sheets are on the
Matches.
spreadsheet.
Yes,
That'll work. And then you can
Okay.
initial your spreadsheet.
Yeah,
okay,
and that's what the auditor's gonna say.
Yeah.
How did these get on the spreadsheet? You've checked it.
okay, so.
Then it goes
for-
from the spreadsheet to whatever the request for payment, it stays the same, and then,
So for tonight, should I go print the spreadsheet? Or is it too late tonight? Cause we
That's-
can do it tomorrow or whatever.
Well,
We're both here right now.
we're both here, if you don't mind printing it,
No,
that
I
way he
don't.
can get it on his AP,
Okay,
so we can get the checks cut.
perfect. So
I just got a ground in my,
off.
You got what?